headquarters of Fox News, it's The Kelly File with Megyn Kelly.
Well, it has been 2 weeks since documentary filmmaker and author Dinesh D'Souza began his 8-month sentence in a California community confinement center for breaking campaign finance laws during the 2012 election. Yesterday, he got a day pass to New York City and came here to The Kelly File. Watch. He's out. So somebody better tell him, Brian, you're out. This is some confinement.
Well, it's not a 24-hour confinement. Right. I'm confined overnight, and so I check in the evening, sometime between 7 and 9. I sleep there in a kind of an L-shaped dormitory. There are about 120 people in the facility, about 60 on a floor. We sleep in an open area on bunk beds.
Like camp?
A little bit like camp. We have a locker like high school. And
you have to wear a uniform or anything? Can you sleep in your regular pajamas?
Well, I dress cautiously. I wear sort of tracksuit clothes and dark clothing.
Yeah, like a black and white striped.
Well, I got to remind myself that all the other guys in there came from prison, and some of them have served murder and other cases, so they're transitioning back into society.
Oh, boy.
I seem to be the only guy coming from the street, and I leave in the morning.
What's it like? What are the people like?
It's about 2/3 Hispanic. The rest of it's divided between black and white. The Asian Indian population is very limited. I think if I started the Asian Indian gang, it would have one member. That's me. And most of the people there are, they're very cautious. There's a very interesting culture of civility that prevails. I think it's because it's a violent place. I mean, it's a violent culture. These are criminals.
Right.
As a result, they're very courteous. If I'm watching TV, you'll have 3 big guys walk by, but they'll duck to not to
because they don't want to get hurt.
They don't want to obstruct.
They don't know what you're in for, obviously. I hope you don't tell them. Do they watch the Kelly File? Is that what they're watching? Maybe that's what, they're watching the Kelly File. Nobody wants to get in the way of it.
Well, in addition to that, so that's my confinement. I also have, I do psychiatric counseling.
Are they trying to cure you of your republicanism? Your conservatism?
The judge said that he was just mystified by me. He couldn't understand why I did this, and I think he thought that self-examination might help to illuminate that question. So,
have you given that any thought?
I think this is it, Megyn, to be honest. When you're an immigrant and you leave a whole world behind, as I did when I was 17, and I came to America, it's kind of like leaving one building and walking on a tightrope to another building. And pretty soon you've left the first building behind, India, but you haven't really become American, right? You're lost. You're in no man's land. And I landed at that stage at Dartmouth, and I had a small group of friends, and they became like family to me. And Wendy Long, who ran for Senate 25 years later, was one of that number. So I told the judge, I said, we became so close at that time when I was so impressionable that 25 years later I almost viewed her running as a family obligation, and that's the psychological reason. I kind of lost my judgment, and I went overboard, and I did something I shouldn't have done.
What's amazing though now is that even though you're in this confinement center and the government wanted prison, they badly wanted you to be in prison for up to a year plus, is you're still working. I mean, now the DVD of America is coming out now.
Well, I think the government was trying to discredit me, and that completely failed. And then they thought, if we lock this guy up for 12 to 16 months, at the very least he won't be able to make a movie in the next election year, and that's not working either. So in some senses this has been a great political win because of what the government tried to do to me. It's not that I have a lenient sentence, it's just that I have a lenient sentence compared.
They have to approve your media appearances, and they approve this one, so let's not say anything more bad about the government. Thank you, government. Thank you. Dinesh, it's great to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Keep your head down and your mouth shut.
I will.
See you in a few months.
From the world headquarters of Fox News, it's The Kelly File with Megyn Kelly.
Well, it has been 2 weeks since documentary filmmaker and author Dinesh D'Souza began his 8-month sentence in a California community confinement center for breaking campaign finance laws during the 2012 election. Yesterday, he got a day pass to New York City and came here to The Kelly File. Watch. He's out. So somebody better tell him, Brian, you're out. This is some confinement.
Well, it's not a 24-hour confinement.
Right.
I'm confined overnight, and so I check in the evening, sometime between 7 and 9. I sleep there in a kind of an L-shaped dormitory. There are about 120 people in the facility.